Flush is noun. A reddening of the skin, especially in the face, caused by increased blood flow. A sudden rush or surge, especially of emotions or adrenaline. She won the poker game with a royal flush, much to the disappointment of her opponents. She had a sudden flush of embarrassment when she realized she had been talking about the wrong person. He noticed a flush in his cheeks after running up the stairs. The toilet wouldn't stop running, so he checked the flush to see if it was the problem. The sudden flush of water from the fire hydrant surprised the children playing nearby.
Hodgepodge as noun. A mixture or medley of different things, a jumbled assortment. A stew made of various ingredients, typically leftovers. The meal was a hodgepodge of different dishes. The garden was a hodgepodge of various plants. The room was a hodgepodge of mismatched furniture. The film was a hodgepodge of different genres. The group was a hodgepodge of people from different backgrounds.
Sinecure is noun. A paid job or position that requires little or no work and provides an easy and comfortable livelihood. An office or position that provides a good salary or income without much responsibility or work. The CEO's job was essentially a sinecure, as he had delegated most of his responsibilities to subordinates. The ambassador was accused of using his position as a sinecure to avoid real work. The politician was criticized for giving a sinecure position to his unqualified friend. The professor was given a sinecure position in recognition of his long service to the university. The company was criticized for creating sinecure positions to reward loyal employees. Gambit as noun. A risky or bold move made in the hope of gaining a benefit. A tactic or strategy employed in order to distract, deceive, or mislead an opponent or adversary. The politician's gambit to win over young voters was to promise free college education. The company's gambit to boost sales was to offer discounts on its products. The chess player's gambit of sacrificing a pawn paid off in the end. The coach's gambit of changing the team's formation surprised the opponents. The gambit of revealing the murderer's identity in the middle of the movie was unexpected. Antipathy as noun. A feeling of opposition or hostility towards something. A strong feeling of dislike or aversion towards someone or something. She felt a strong antipathy towards people who mistreated animals and would always speak out against such behavior. There was a clear antipathy between the two political parties, with each side accusing the other of being corrupt and incompetent. His antipathy towards modern technology was well known, and he refused to use smartphones or social media. The teacher's antipathy towards certain students was evident in the way she treated them, often singling them out for criticism and punishment. The company's antipathy towards unions was reflected in its harsh policies towards employees who tried to organize or bargain collectively. Virago as noun. A domineering or aggressive woman, often one who is considered unattractive or undesirable. A woman who is strong-willed, courageous, or outspoken, often in a manner that is seen as unfeminine or aggressive. She was often called a virago because of her assertive and aggressive personality. The character in the book was a virago who defied societal norms and expectations. The movie featured a strong female lead who was a virago in a male-dominated industry. The history books often overlook the contributions of viragos who challenge gender roles and stereotypes. The term virago has historically been used to belittle and shame women who do not conform to gender norms.
Pyrrhic as noun. A battle, campaign, or endeavor that results in a victory or success that is more costly or damaging than the gains achieved. A victory or success that is achieved at great cost or sacrifice, such that the benefits gained are outweighed by the losses incurred. The poet used a pyrrhic in the third line of the stanza to create a sense of urgency. The general's victory was a pyrrhic one, as the casualties suffered by his army far outweighed any strategic advantage gained. The company's decision to cut corners on safety measures proved to be a pyrrhic mistake, as the resulting lawsuits bankrupted the company. The political party's pyrrhic campaign promises were seen as desperate attempts to sway voters, and ultimately led to their defeat. The athlete's decision to compete while injured resulted in a pyrrhic victory, as the damage to his body was severe and long-lasting. Egotist as noun, a person who is excessively self-centered and obsessed with their own interests, abilities, and achievements, someone who thinks highly of themselves and displays an exaggerated sense of self-importance. The athlete's egotism was so extreme that she refused to take part in team events and always insisted on being the center of attention. The CEO was a notorious egotist, taking credit for the company's successes and blaming others for its failures. The author's work was often criticized for being too self-centered, leading some to label him an egotist. His constant bragging and self-promotion earned him the reputation of being an egotist among his peers. The politician was accused of being an egotist for putting his own interests ahead of those of his constituents.
Variance as noun, a degree of variation or diversity within a particular group or population. A difference or deviation between two or more things, often measured or expressed numerically. The data showed a significant variance from the expected results. The variance in temperature between night and day was quite extreme. The company's profits were affected by variance in currency exchange rates. The research found a high degree of variance in the responses of study participants. The building plans had to be revised to meet local zoning variances.
Reservation as noun, a block of seats, rooms, or resources that have been set aside for a specific purpose or group. A stipulation, condition, or qualification attached to an agreement or acceptance. The restaurant had a reservation for a party of 6 at 7 p.m. The hotel had a reservation for a guest who had booked a room online. The car rental company confirmed the reservation for a compact car. The park required reservations for camping sites during peak season. The tour guide suggested making reservations for the popular attraction in advance.
Aesthete as noun. It implies a sense of refinement and sophistication in one's tastes and interests. A person who has a deep appreciation and understanding of beauty, art, and culture. He is a true aesthete, with a deep appreciation for art, music, and literature. She has a refined sense of style and is often sought after for fashion advice, making her a natural aesthete. They are a group of aesthetes who are passionate about architecture and design, and they often travel to different cities to explore and admire famous buildings. He is an aesthete in the kitchen, creating beautiful and delicious meals that are as pleasing to the eye as they are to the palate. She is an aesthete in her home, carefully selecting every piece of furniture and decor to create a cohesive and visually stunning space.
Enormity as noun, extreme wickedness or cruelty, great size or extent. The enormity of the task ahead of them was daunting. It was difficult to comprehend the enormity of the disaster. The enormity of the loss was felt by everyone who knew her. The enormity of the situation began to sink in. He was shocked by the enormity of the crime committed. Antic as noun, a playful or ridiculous act or gesture, a whimsical or bizarre behavior. The clown's antics kept the children entertained throughout the show. The court jester's antics were often used to criticize the king's policies in a humorous way. The comedian's antics on stage were unpredictable and often controversial. The dog's antics in the park attracted the attention of other pet owners and passers-by. The actor's antics during the filming of the movie were legendary, and many behind-the-scenes stories became part of Hollywood lore. Tyro as noun, a beginner or novice, a person who is new to or inexperienced in a particular skill or field. The young tyro had a lot to learn about the industry, but showed great promise. The tyro investor made some rookie mistakes, but learned from them. The tyro chef struggled to keep up with the pace of the busy kitchen. The tyro writer was still developing his own unique style. The tyro musician was eager to learn from her more experienced bandmates.
Contingent as noun, a condition or circumstance that determines or influences the outcome of something. A group of people, often military personnel, sent to a place for a specific purpose. The military sent a contingent of soldiers to provide aid after the natural disaster. The business sent a contingent of employees to attend the conference. The sports team brought a contingent of fans to cheer them on at the away game. The music festival invited a contingent of international artists to perform. The political party formed a contingent of supporters to canvass for votes. Junta as noun, a group of people who exercise power or control, especially without the support of the general population. A military government or dictatorship, especially one that comes to power through a coup. The military junta took over the government in a coup. The political junta was accused of rigging the election. The business magnates formed a junta to control the industry. The rebel group formed a junta to govern the territory they had taken over. The junta ruled with an iron fist, suppressing all dissenting voices. Eclectic, a person who draws from a variety of sources in their work or approach. An individual who selects elements from a wide range of sources or styles. She was known in the art world as an eclectic, constantly experimenting with different mediums and styles. The literary magazine was edited by a team of eclectics, each with their own unique perspective on what made a great story. The eclectic of the group was tasked with finding a restaurant that would satisfy everyone's tastes. The band's eclectic was responsible for choosing the set list for the concert. The group's eclectic made sure that their travel itinerary included something for everyone, from historical landmarks to trendy cafes. Tact as noun, a keen sense of what to do or say in order to maintain good relations with others. The ability to deal with difficult or delicate situations in a way that does not offend or upset others. The diplomat used tact to negotiate a peace agreement. She demonstrated great tact by avoiding a potentially sensitive topic. The manager handled the situation with tact and avoided any conflict. The politician used tact to persuade voters to support their campaign. The customer service representative showed tact by patiently addressing the customer's complaints. Juggernaut as noun, a massive and overpowering force or object that crushes everything in its path. An unstoppable and irresistible force or power. The tech company had become a juggernaut in the industry, dominating the market. The political party was a juggernaut in the elections, winning by a large margin. The internet giant was a juggernaut in the tech world, acquiring smaller companies left and right. The restaurant chain had become a juggernaut in the fast food industry, with locations all over the country. The film franchise had become a juggernaut at the box office, with each movie earning millions of dollars. Presumption as noun, an assumption made without proof or sufficient evidence. An unwarranted attitude of superiority or self-assurance. The defendant's presumption of innocence is a fundamental principle in criminal law. She had no right to enter my room without permission, and her presumption that she could was unwarranted. The new policy is based on the presumption that all employees are honest and hardworking. The decision to cancel the event was made on the presumption that the weather would be bad. The CEO's arrogance was based on the presumption that his company was invincible. Ready to boost your English? Meet our vocabulary app, the fun and effective way to master the language. Books learn advanced words with examples and audio. Direct hit master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Video game enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Glow showing Europe, Africa translate into 100+ languages, all in one app. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.